Welcome to the Marketing Execution Podcast. This is the show for tech founders and leaders building B2B products and technologies. We show you how to go further, faster to get the business results you need.
From strategies to big exec dreams, catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
I really hope that you cannot relate to this, but it turns out that feeling stuck is more common than you think. Studies show that nearly 3/4 of individuals experience prolonged periods of stagnation. First, today, we're diving into how tech leaders can navigate these challenging moments and redefine their approach to growth. Then you'll discover a practical framework to regain momentum, including how to recalibrate your mindset, actionable strategies to overcome obstacles, and the importance of embracing imperfection. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to the Marketing Execution Podcast for more insights from marketing and go-to-market experts. Now let's tune into Tim and Lisa as they uncover hidden truths about finding success from the book, Anatomy of a Breakthrough.
Ever feel like you're stuck on a treadmill, like you're putting in all this work, but going absolutely nowhere?
Oh, tell me about it. We've all been there.
Right. And it turns out it's something that most of us experience. In Anatomy of a Breakthrough, Adam Alter really digs into this whole idea of being stuck. And that's what we're diving into today.
Sounds fascinating.
It is. And joining me to unpack all of Alter's insights is, well, our expert. Ready to, bust through those plateaus and figure out how to reach our full potential.
I'm ready. Let's do it. What I find so interesting about this whole topic is that it's something that, like you said, we all experience, but we very rarely talk about it.
That's so true. And Alter actually says that 3 out of 4 people have felt seriously stuck at some point in their lives.
Wow. 3 out of 4. That's a lot of us.
Right. It's a huge chunk of us. So why do you think we shy away from discussing it so much?
Well, I think part of it is because we're constantly bombarded with these, success stories. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
We see entrepreneurs who've built these massive empires practically overnight, or artists who became famous in an instant.
Right. Instant success stories.
Exactly. And it creates this illusion that success is always linear, like it's this straight shot to the top.
And it ignores the struggle.
Exactly. It ignores all the struggles that most people face along the way.
So we're sort of falling victim to that survivorship bias thing.
Yes, exactly that.
Like we only see the people who survived the climb to success.
Yeah.
Not the ones who are, still trying to navigate those treacherous paths.
Yes, 100%. And, our brains love a good story.
Oh, for sure.
We crave those classic hero's journey narratives. Clear beginning, middle, and a triumphant end.
Of course. It's satisfying.
Right. So admitting that we're actually stuck in the middle, that we haven't reached that triumphant end yet, well, it just kind of messes with that whole narrative.
It's not as glamorous. We want those Instagram-worthy highlight reels. We don't necessarily want to see or share the messy, behind-the-scenes reality.
You hit the nail on the head. And that's what really resonated with me about Alter's book. He doesn't try to sugarcoat it. He acknowledges that long, winding road where progress feels invisible, which I think most of us can definitely relate to.
Totally. It's like that point in a road trip where you've been driving for hours and every mile marker starts to look the same.
Yes.
And you start to wonder if you're even moving forward at all.
It's so easy to mistake consistency for stagnation in those moments. We hit those plateaus where our old tricks, the things that used to work, just stop working. That initial excitement we had, it kind of fizzles out.
It's like our motivation hits a wall.
And we hit a wall. But here's where it gets really interesting. Alter argues that this is where the real growth happens.
He challenges our whole perception of failure, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, we're practically conditioned to avoid failure at all costs, like it's the plague. But he suggests that it might actually be the missing ingredient.
Exactly. He talks about how we're so fixated on the end goal of the Grammys, as he calls it.
Right. I remember that part.
That we often become blind to the joy of the actual process, the journey itself. We're so busy chasing the finish line that we miss all the scenery along the way.
It's like we need to reframe what it means to succeed, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the destination, but about all the lessons we learn and the growth we experience during the journey.
Precisely. And you know what's fascinating? Research actually backs this up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those aha moments of learning, they often come after we've struggled, after we've been forced to confront those roadblocks.
So those setbacks, those moments where we feel most stuck, they might actually be the most valuable learning experiences.
Think about it. When was the last time you learned something effortlessly? Chances are you probably don't even remember.
That's a good point.
It's the things we struggle with, the concepts we have to really wrestle with. Those are the ones that stick with us.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It's
Yeah.
like our brains are wired to remember those hard-won victories.
Exactly. It's how we learn and how we grow. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. Alter goes on to offer some really practical strategies for navigating those stuck moments and using them to our advantage.
It's like we need to shift our perspective from, stuck being a dead end to seeing it as like a fork in the road. Like it's an opportunity to pause, reassess, and maybe even choose a more scenic route.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. And Alter actually offers some really concrete tools for navigating those forks in the road, so to speak. One of the most, I think, surprising ones is the power of slowing down.
Slowing down. Okay, but isn't that kind of counterintuitive? Like when we feel stuck, the urge is to like scramble for a solution,
To
just
just
do something.
Right, exactly. It's that instinct to just get out of that feeling as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
But when we're in that frantic fight or flight mode, that's when we're more likely to make decisions from a place of, fear and scarcity.
So by slowing down, we create space for more like thoughtful action, more strategic action.
Exactly. We give ourselves a chance to think clearly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Alter actually suggests we plan for the worst case scenario.
Oh, now that sounds a little scary, doesn't it? I mean, who wants to intentionally focus on the worst possible outcome?
I know, right? It seems completely counterintuitive. But his argument is that by confronting our anxieties head on, like by mentally rehearsing that worst case scenario, we often realize that it's not as catastrophic as we've made it out to be in our minds.
So it's like, what is that? Like ripping off a Band-Aid, just get it over with.
Yeah, kind of.
That fear of the unknown is so much worse than the reality.
Precisely. It's like mentally inoculating ourselves against those anxieties that can keep us, frozen in place.
Totally. Okay, so speaking of being frozen in place, Alter also tackles perfectionism head on, which I love.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
Because, oh my gosh, that need for things to be just so,
Yeah. It can be crippling.
crippling. Any advice from Alter on how to kind of escape that perfection trap?
He has a great suggestion, and it's so simple, but I think it's really powerful. He says to focus on quantity over quality, at least initially.
So instead of trying to like hit a home run right out of the gate, we should just try to get those ideas flowing, even if they're, half-baked.
Exactly. Think of it like brainstorming on steroids. Even those bad ideas, those meh ideas, they can spark something truly innovative.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
And remember, good enough is often, good enough, especially in those early stages.
That is a good reminder because I know personally I can get so bogged down in the details before I even get started.
I've been there too. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
Alter also talks about breaking down those big, daunting goals into smaller, more manageable chunks, and not just breaking them down, but actually celebrating those milestones,
Yeah.
even if they're self-created.
That's so smart. It's all about building momentum, right? Even tackling small tasks that are related to the larger project can get us moving in the right direction.
Exactly. Remember that example he gives of the writer who's stuck on her next chapter?
Yeah.
Instead of just staring at a blank page, she could spend some time organizing her research or backing up her files, even just tidying up her workspace.
Right.
It's all about forward momentum.
Right. Taking action, even if it's not the most glamorous or exciting action, it helps to kind of clear the mental clutter. And sometimes that's all it takes to pave the way for those aha moments.
It's like clearing out the underbrush so you can see the path more clearly,
I like that. Yeah.
And often that's really all it takes to rediscover our momentum and get unstuck.
Okay. This is all such great advice. But what about those times when we feel like we've tried everything and we're still stuck? Like Alter talks about, pushing past our limits, giving it 150%. Is he serious?
He is. And honestly, it's often in those moments where we feel like giving up, that the breakthrough is actually the closest.
Really?
You've probably heard the saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get, right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
It's not that persistence, like, magically creates luck. It's more that by being persistent, we're increasing our opportunities for those, those lucky breaks to occur.
Oh, okay. So the more we put ourselves out there, the more likely we are to, like, stumble upon something unexpected that could change everything.
Exactly. It's like, think about it this way. The person who applies for 200 jobs is statistically more likely to land their dream job than the person who gives up after, like, 20 applications, right?
That makes sense.
So, yeah, he's definitely serious about that, 150%. But it's not just about blind effort,
Okay.
Alter also talks about the importance of seeking out, like, outside perspectives.
Oh, right. Like a fresh pair of eyes. Exactly. And that's where collaboration and mentorship can be so valuable, because sometimes we're just too close to the situation to see the solution, even when it's right in front of us.
It's like that saying, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
Or what is it? You can't see the picture when you're inside the frame?
Yes, exactly.
Something like that.
Sometimes we need that outside perspective to help us see what we can't see on our own.
Okay, so then who do we seek out for that fresh perspective?
It could be anyone, really. A trusted friend, a mentor, a colleague, even a family member. The key is to find someone who's not afraid to, like, challenge us, to offer honest feedback and kind of push us outside of our comfort zones a little bit.
We need those people in our lives who will tell us the truth, even when it's not necessarily what we want to hear.
Yes, exactly. And it's not just about seeking advice, but also about being open to different perspectives, right? Alter talks about how diversity of thought is so essential for innovation and growth. Like, when we surround ourselves with people who think differently than we do, it challenges our assumptions and it forces us to see the world through a new lens.
It's about embracing those differences,
Actually,
and recognizing that we don't have all the answers.
Precisely. It's about fostering a spirit of curiosity and collaboration, being open to learning from others regardless of their background or expertise, because when we approach challenges with that kind of humility and that willingness to learn, amazing things can happen.
This has been such a thought-provoking conversation. I think Alter offers a really empowering message. Feeling stuck, it's not a sign of weakness, right?
No, not at all.
It's just a natural part of the human experience. And really, it's an invitation to dig deeper, get creative, and, maybe even change course entirely. What I'm hearing is that those stuck moments, they're really just opportunities for growth, disguised as challenges.
100%. And what's beautiful about this whole process is that it's ongoing, right? Like, we're all going to experience those stuck moments throughout our lives, whether it's in our careers, our relationships, or our own personal growth journeys.
And that's okay. What matters is that we have the tools and the mindset to navigate those challenges and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. Reach out to your network, seek support, and celebrate those wins, no matter how small they may seem.
Sometimes, though, we're so caught up in the weeds of it all that we can't even see the road,
That's when it can be so helpful to zoom out, to shift our perspective a little bit. And Alter actually talks about the power of reframing our experiences, looking at the bigger picture.
So how do we actually zoom out when we're feeling like, lost in the weeds?
Yeah.
Any practical tips from Alter on how to do that?
Yeah. He actually gives a really great example in the book of, like, someone who's feeling stuck in their career. They've been passed over for a promotion, they're putting in the extra hours, but it just feels like their efforts aren't really being noticed or appreciated.
Yeah, been there.
It's easy to kind of spiral into self-doubt in those situations.
Totally. You start questioning your skills, your judgment, like your whole career path. Could be really, really disheartening.
Exactly. But Alter, he suggests a really, I think, powerful reframe. Instead of dwelling on what you haven't achieved yet, he says, shift your focus to what you have accomplished.
So, like, take a step back and actually acknowledge how far you've already come.
Yes. Like, look back at where you were a year ago, 6 months ago even. Have you learned new skills, taken on new challenges, expanded your network?
Oh, that's good.
We're often so focused on the future that we forget to even acknowledge our own progress, which, let's be honest, can be incredibly demotivating.
It's so true. It's like we're constantly chasing that next milestone, that next achievement, and we forget to, like, stop and actually appreciate how far we've already come.
And that shift in perspective, even just that subtle shift from scarcity to abundance, it can be so powerful.
It's huge.
It allows us to approach those challenges from a place of strength and resilience rather than from a place of fear and self-doubt.
It's about recognizing that those setbacks, those moments where we feel stuck, they're not failures. They're opportunities.
Yeah.
Opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming even more resilient.
Yes, 100%. They're detours, but detours that can sometimes lead to amazing discoveries. They're opportunities to discover new paths, new possibilities that we might not have even considered otherwise.
I love that. It's like embracing the unknown.
Yeah.
Stepping outside of our comfort zones and trusting that sometimes those unexpected twists and turns, they lead to the most incredible adventures.
Exactly. And sometimes, the most powerful way to overcome those stuck feelings is to simply take action.
Okay, but what if you don't even know what action to take? What if you're just feeling paralyzed by indecision?
That's when it's so important to remember that action doesn't have to be this big dramatic thing. It can be as simple as taking one small step forward, even if it's just one tiny step.
So instead of waiting for the perfect moment,
Yeah.
for all the lights to turn green, we should just
Just start moving.
just start moving.
Exactly. Action creates its own momentum. The more we move, the easier it becomes to keep going. It's like that old saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
I feel like we've all heard that one, right?
Yeah,
But it's so true.
it is.
And sometimes taking that first step, it just feels like, the hardest part.
It can be, but, the good news is we don't have to have all the answers. We don't have to have it all figured out. We just have to be willing to, to start, to take that first step and trust that the path will kind of unfold as we go.
This has been such an inspiring conversation. And I think, the biggest takeaway I'm getting from Adam Alter's Anatomy of a Breakthrough is that feeling stuck, it's not a sign of weakness or failure. It's just a natural part of the human experience.
Sort of being human,
Exactly. And it's an invitation, really. An invitation to, like you said, to dig deeper, to get creative.
And to, maybe even reinvent ourselves along the way.
Yes. Oh, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing these incredible insights with us today. I think this was an amazing deep dive into Anatomy of a Breakthrough.
My pleasure. It's been a great discussion.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey, as always. We hope you've gained some valuable tools for navigating those stuck moments in your own lives and for turning them into opportunities for growth and breakthrough. Until next time, remember, the path unfolds one step at a time.
The Marketing Execution Podcast is produced by Growth Stage Marketing. We are on a mission to see your company reach wild success using marketing pods.
Too big, accept dreams. Catch the buzz and join the execution. Marketing Convo.
Thank you for listening and being a part of the Marketing Execution movement and community. To learn how growth stage marketing clients reach more buyers and drive business impact, go to growthstage.marketing. That's growthstage.marketing.